Hi, FlossTube.
Hi, FlossTube. Welcome. It's Megan, Georgia girl, stitching, and a special guest, David.
Hi, I'm Dave.
My fiance, who I've never ever called him Dave, but apparently that's a name for him. Here for FlossTube number 7. It is August 2nd. Yeah, can't believe it's August. It's gone. This July went by pretty fast. So I just quickly want to thank everyone for coming back, and all of the new subscribers. I've had quite a few over the last month, I guess it's been 3 weeks since I was here. So thank you all so much for coming back and checking us out, and I guess today it isn't us. I'm seeing what we got here today. So because it's a little different, we're gonna start out with some of the previous finishes that I've made for him, and then I'm gonna do like my normal FlossTube thing and go through whips and haul and stitchy kindness and all of that fun stuff, and then we'll go and do a little Q&A and learn about this person a little bit more. So to start, the first thing I made for him, which was also the first thing I've ever designed as well, he went on this is your Brazil trip. He went,
I was in Brazil for 4 weeks in between my freshman and sophomore years of college.
Yeah, and that was the longest we'd ever been apart while we were together. So I was really missing him, and I saw this poem and thought it would be a really cool cross stitch pattern. So this is, we're gonna get glare. I haven't shown anything framed before. This is new. Okay, so it's a Disney poem that I did not write, but it's what's Minnie without Mickey, what's Tigger without Pooh, what's Daisy without Donald, that's me without you. When Elmo isn't ticklish and Pooh Bear hates honey, when Tigger stops bouncing and Goofy isn't funny, when Peter Pan can't fly and Simba never roars, when Alice in Wonderland can't fit through small doors, when Dumbo's ears are small and happily ever isn't true, that's when I'll stop loving you. So I saw this as like a picture, whatever, and didn't have like I just kind of Googled Disney alphabet, and just kind of put this together, and definitely would do a lot of things differently if I was to redo this today.
Like line up the words?
And then you can't see from a distance, but like I didn't trim anything back there. So if you looked closer, you could like see all the tails coming through. And but he won't let me redo it. So
it's cute. And this is hung up in my room ever since you made it for me.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and it hangs up in our bedroom.
Whether it's
now
been in Atlanta or here.
Yes.
And then here again.
It's always here. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing I did while we were in college, I think the sun just shifted. I have like lines, but oh well. Second thing was when we were in college, it just took me probably about a year off and on, maybe a little over a year.
I think it was more than.
Yeah, I think it was more than that.
Because after you gave it to me,
I took some time off in between though. I got frustrated with it. So it wasn't a consecutive time that I spent making it. But this ended up being his graduation present for college. He saw this at one point. He's like, will you make that for me? And
and I guess we'll get to this a little later, but when you first got into cross stitch, the first thing I did was look up, well, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
And this was the first thing that I found.
I became his personal cross stitcher.
Yeah.
And so this was, it's called Young America from Artisy. Artisy. Full coverage. It's on, just like on an Ada, I think 18 count. And my dad cut the mat and helped me frame it. It's like a frame from, what are you doing?
I'm trying to keep it from smacking me in the face.
Right. So dad helped me frame it and mat it and everything. And this was his graduation present. Can I get a little close up there? Yeah. So I think I've had most of the ship done, and then I got to the water. It was like over it. And so I took a break from it for a while, and then finished it in time for graduation.
And the reason why I picked this out, and we'll talk about this later, because Megan has told me some of you want to know about what my deal is with the Navy.
Yeah, I've had a couple private messages asking about like what he does in the Navy.
And I've always wanted to be in the Navy, so I wanted a boat.
Yes, he's always been into boats. So, and then the latest thing I've made for him, which was actually a Christmas present last year, and this has a little bit of a story too, was...
Did I get it for Christmas or for my birthday? I think you gave it to me when we were at
so his
Rosemary.
birthday and his Christmas are 4 days apart. So somewhere in there.
And something else happened on my birthday.
Yes, so it was, I think, maybe this was technically your birthday present, but December, he received this, was this pillow. So this is Winsome Whale by Artful Offerings. And this is stitched on 32 count flax. And what's really cool, and this was finished by Jan, I believe. And so I picked out this fabric from like Hobby Lobby, and then she finished it into a pillow. So what was really cool about this, actually, this was another thing he picked out. We were just at Keepsakes during one of your block breaks. He came up and we were at Keepsakes and he was just walking around, which was dangerous. I shouldn't have let him do that. He was just walking around and he saw this whale was, there was a model of it at Keepsakes and he's like, I want that, make that for me.
But it was on like a wooden...
Yeah, it was like, it was a flat finish on like a wooden plank kind of thing. But I forget exactly what prompted it. But we decided it was all done in DMC, and the whale, I don't have the cover page, but essentially the whale was like striped, and I was like, I was like, oh, that'd be cool, variegated. And he's like, okay, we'll do that. And so we went to the floss room,
and also let's also back up for a second, because you said in that moment, you're like, well, if you kit it up for me, I'll do it for you.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was. I was like, well, if you kit it, then I'll make it, not thinking he would kit it. And then, of course, he
we went to the floss room. I picked out all the floss that I wanted for it. Okay,
so I'm going to show you. David converted this pattern. So what we did, I mean, the colors are pretty, we pulled the DMC and then he found variegation that like matched the DMC colors. But so what he did all mostly color and cotton. So the waves down here are color and cotton sapphire. And then the white that goes around the border is Weeks Dye Works grits. The red fish are color and cotton carmine. And then the head of the whale is color and cotton hunter. And then the body of the whale, which was 2 DMC colors, we found this amazing variegated color and cotton sea spray. And so that the variegation is just incredible in that, and it's perfect.
I think we picked out all new. There isn't a single original color.
No, because it's all DMC, and none of these are DMC. So yeah, so we got all new colors. So then I proceeded to make it for him and have it finished, and
I love it. It's the only decorative pillow I own.
He really has nothing against decorative pillows, but he allowed this one. He's thinking against decorative candles and decorative pillows. Everything has to have a use for it. It's like, if he really is, if he ever really wants to get back at me for something, he just has to burn one of my candles. So those are my 3 previous finishes for him. He has 3 more you already want. One I'm working on, because it's the Van Gogh one.
Oh,
you want a Teresa Winsler.
And you talked about the Van Gogh.
Yeah,
before.
That's been, that was on my Whip Parade last video, was the Van Gogh full coverage. And then the Teresa Winsler is one you want.
Yeah, above the clouds, or over the clouds.
Something like that. That's one that you really like. And then there's another one that you really want. Well,
I don't know. When you said 3, I didn't know when.
I thought there's a third one. Okay, maybe not. Okay, cool. There will be a third one soon, probably, I'm sure. So, so that's what we've got.
The Smooth Seas Never Made.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of making that for you too, essentially. So.
Closed the wrong window.
I closed the wrong window. Okay.
There you go.
Yay! Okay. Sorry.
Nailed it.
So, physics is not my best subject. Okay. So those are his previous finishes. So now I'm gonna do like normal whip stuff with That's Just Me, and then we'll come back. So if anyone like doesn't really care about learning about him, then they don't have to. So we'll do that. And then also at the end, I'm gonna splice in at the end the Tour de la Beach Ball that I promised last week. So because he's worked very hard in hanging stuff up.
Which is gotten to a point that we've finished.
Yeah, it's pretty much done until I can get some more things done.
Yeah, well,
so we're pretty much
smooth
done.
seas will probably go up there. The margarita pattern will probably go.
Oh, that's gonna go at the bar.
Right?
Yeah. So I've got some things to finish. We'll see if we're even still living here by the time I finish this. So I'll start with my whips because he's mentioned one twice now. So we'll go ahead and go. So I have been keeping to that weekly rotation where I'm just working on one project a week, which I really have liked because I don't get bored with it, but I actually get to see progress. So, and it's a way to kind of touch all of my whips as well.
And that's sort of been different for me.
Oh, so you want it all the time?
Yeah, because she has only ever stitched, and you've said this I think a couple times before.
Like
is
monogamously.
that you've only been stitching one thing at a time, and I've never seen you juggling multiple patterns at a time. So this has been very different.
When I counted and said I had 13, I think he had a heart attack. So, so the first one I worked on right after my last video for a week was Celtic Summer, which is going to look nothing like this. I'm changing the colors pretty dramatically. This one was
and you also had a crisis.
I did have a crisis with this one, which is really sad. So I'll have a previous picture probably over his face of where I started from because it looks absolutely nothing like it did because I had to frog so much. So I focused on, so previously, as you can see, I had a lot of the teal part done and I didn't have much of the navy blue part. So I was like, well, let me focus on that and then I can kind of move out. So I got almost the navy blue part completely done. And then when I got that part done, it changed the teal colors to look green. And a lot of you were like, but it still looks so pretty. I'm like, it did. It did very much still look very pretty.
I was one of those people.
He was like, don't change it. It looks great. It looks so nice.
Well, you had so much done.
I know. It was hard.
Yeah.
But
I was out of town when she
was like working on this. Yeah. But then when he came home, I showed him and I was like, he's like, but it looks so good. Don't change it. But the thing is, the whole reason I'm changing these colors.
I was out of town when you frogged it.
No, you did. You were sitting right there.
Oh, was I paying attention to something else?
Probably.
Okay. Never mind.
Anyways, you were out of town when I was doing smoothies. But so I showed him and I was like, he's like, but it looks so good, don't change it. I'm like, but the problem is the whole reason I'm changing the colors is to make it look like our wedding colors because we're getting married next summer and I didn't like the original colors very much. So I wanted it to look like our wedding colors, and green is not a wedding color. Well, it's not like the main color. It's an accent color. It's not like the two main. The two main are like the Tiffany, like this color. And, which by the way, I did not tell him to wear this. I swear to God, I did not tell him to wear this. Yeah. But I'm proud of him for doing that. So it's this color and then like navy royal blue. And it did not look this color. So I tore it all out. And then I went to Michael's and was there for like 45 minutes playing with colors. And this is where we are at. So the navy blue looks great, that blue part. And then I did a test run. So I frogged it all out and then I did a test and I am very happy with these colors. So comparatively, it actually looks like our wedding colors.
It looks a lot more.
Yeah, it looks much closer. Yeah. Which is interesting. I actually only changed 2 colors. So really, it was the darker 2 of the colors that were looking green. The others were right in the right palette, but I also needed a lighter color. So because I had to change the entire order, which is why I had to frog it all out. Like I couldn't just frog out the 2 dark colors. I had to like change the whole order. So I changed one. Yeah, so I moved it up 1 and then added a lighter color and a darker color. So yeah, so I'm very excited to get back to this and actually see this all come back together because it's the opposite of what you saw last time. So there was that week. And then the next week, looking back on my whips, I realized I really needed to work on smooth C's. I'm not gonna put a before picture in because it was literally like 20 stitches and it was in a straight line and they were blue. So smooth C, this is what it's going to look like. And actually, I keep calling it smooth C and some people call it skillful sailor. It does not have a name officially. Like she does not have a name on this side. This is Emma Congdon, who's the designer for Stitcherovia. And at the beginning, even the table of contents, it's just design numbers. So I'm calling it Smooth C. When she releases it, if she ever releases it outside of the book, she might call it something different. I don't know. But that's what it will look like. And this is where
I'm very excited for the patterns that are coming out of this book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Tequila didn't come out of it, but it came. Oh, but it's the same designer. Same designer. Okay. So he really likes this designer.
Yeah. And I think one thing that is deceptive about the patterns that you were saying about the Tequila pattern is that how much fill-in, how much straight fill-in there is for each of the patterns.
Yeah. So case in point, this. So I got the center portion done of the anchor, never made a. So I've got to, fill in some words there. But I was able to get a lot done. This, the fill-in for that was so walk on a beach made me think that fill-in really is hard. I really didn't like it. But honestly, after a long day of studying, fill-in was really nice. So that's probably how I was able to get so much done, is fill-in goes really fast because I didn't have to look at a pattern. I just outlined it all, and then just filled it in. So a lot of fun, really happy with the design so far, really happy with the progress. And this is just after a week. So hopefully this one will go when I bring this back out.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Anchor and everything.
That one, because we're 2 years apart in medical school, I have to move for residency before she does. That one will likely go with me.
Will it?
Yeah, to the well, yeah, because it's gonna go to a Navy base.
That's true. Yeah, and we'll talk more about that towards at the end too. But because we're the same age, but he started 2 years ahead of me. I went to Cincinnati, he went to med school, and because of that, there are no Navy residency programs in Auburn, Alabama. So
turns out.
So that's why I say we might not be living in this house in 2 years. So we'll see. But then this past week, so on a week ago, last Sunday, I could not decide what I wanted to work on. I was really torn between 3 projects. So I did one of those like quiz polls. It was the first time I've ever done it. It was a quiz poll on my Instagram stories, and you all voted. And it was very close between Beachcomber and Patchwork Quaker, they were like neck and neck most of the day. But by the end of it, Beachcomber won. So
it's just like I love the design. It's really, really pretty. But the thought of working on that gives me a headache.
Which is so funny because it's geometric. Like it's all geometric, but for some reason but yeah, so this is by Carolyn Manning Designs. Oh, I forgot to say, the Celtic Summer is on 32 count Color and Cotton Salt Rock, Lugana, and the Smooth Sea is on 40 count Platinum. So, and then Beachcomber, before photo, over his face, and then, and then this is where we're at. So I worked a lot. I mostly worked in this quadrant over here. So before I'd been going all the way around, but I decided I was like, I really don't want to, because I only have a week, I wanted to really see some progress in the quadrant, and I did. So I got to the 2 edges, so the top edge and then this edge, that's as tall and wide as it's going to be in that quadrant, and then it's just fill in from there with all of the different. So I was staying symmetrical within that quadrant. But this was a lot of fun. It gives him a headache, but I love it because
it's the thought of working on it because it is full coverage.
It is
right?
full coverage.
Yeah, so it's full coverage, and like
I don't think of it as full coverage, but it really is.
All the patterns within the pattern, and
all the diamonds and the squares and the.
It frightens me.
Yeah, so that's how far we got, and I'm really excited about it. I think because Patchwork Quaker was so close, I think I'm going to do that this coming week. All right, Shiloh, time for you to get on it too. Well, for the Quaker, we have she and I started the hashtag #CusQuakersSal, because we both are, well, she especially, but are very much in love with Quakers now. So because Quaker style. And then Smooth Sea, actually, I'm doing with Caroline. We're doing the hashtag Smooth Sea style. So 2 styles going there. I don't think there's a lavender and lace Celtic ladies style. So, but yeah, so that's all I worked on the last 3 weeks. But then I did do some buying. So we'll start with the planned buying. Maybe take this. I don't want this to fall. So I'm part of the Color and Cotton Fabric of the Month Club, and the July fabric came in, and it is called Requiem, and it's this gorgeous like gray mottled fabric. So that's gonna be really nice for something. But yeah, it's pretty true to color. We changed the light bulbs in here to those natural lights, so it actually looks like the color it's supposed to.
Yeah. Everything
Game changer.
does, actually.
Yeah, everything looks like it's supposed to. It's a total game changer. But yeah, so that's pretty true to color. So yeah, so Requiem. And then Liz Matthews released some gorgeous patterns this past month. And one of them was one that I had to have, and it was the Quaker pumpkins. And I'll include a picture here because I don't have the chart yet. I call it Keepsakes, and they have it on order, so I'll be receiving it at some point, but I don't have it yet. But I did go ahead and get the fabric and floss for it. So I was on 1, 2, 3 stitch for probably just perusing, and I saw this fabric. Oh no, I was watching Annie Joyfield Stitcher, and she was doing something on this fabric, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for Quaker pumpkin Quaker. Yeah, one of those. So Annie, thank you, because I am doing the, or she showed one like this or something like that, but I am doing it on 40 count Wren Newcastle. So that's what I'm gonna do the pumpkins on. And then I got almost, I think there's 2 colors. Yeah. I don't have almost all of the floss for it. Oh, it's just so gorgeous.
And the pattern originally, I mean, I'm assuming doesn't call for that type of fabric.
It has so it technically has a called for fabric that is close to this, I think. Like, it's a mottled neutral.
Because something that's always been funny for me when you're stitching is you go and say, I think I'm going to change the fabric for this.
Yeah, I usually do. Usually just because I'm something I knit.
And whenever you do that, at first I was kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's see how that turns. Like the Key West one was actually one that I was a little worried about.
Oh, because it had
because there is so much blue in it, and you did it on a blue linen, that I was worried that all the blues were going to get lost in it. But it came out really, really nice, and the blue background ended up making a lot of the other colors pop, which helped the other blues stand out. Yeah. So you have a very good eye for picking out different...
Thank you. Thank you. You'll see what he's talking about actually it's on our beach wall, so you'll see that in the tour. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you really have to be careful with fabric because it can look like something in one light, and then you get in another light and it looks very different.
Yeah. Or the fabric of the month shipments that you had gotten previously, some of them were too funky.
Yeah, too mottled.
Like,
yeah, well, it was just
like
that
there was one that you almost didn't know what to do with.
Yeah.
Because it almost looked like it just had like a coffee stain running down the middle.
Yeah.
So.
So you gotta be careful with fabric, as we all know. You know, you just gotta find the ones that work well for what you're looking for, and everyone has different tastes. So, but fabric can't travel alone from 1, 2, 3 stitch. So I got, this was actually on my wish list, and then it was on sale when I was going to check out, and it is 40 count dwarf Newcastle, and I just love this color. Like, I feel like so much could be done on this. So just a really pretty blue. And I'm trying to kind of also amp up my 40 count stash because I'm loving 40 count, and and so I'm loving the 40 count, and I need to kind of amp up I have a lot of 32, and I love 32, that's my other main one, but the 40 count, I'm working on it. So I got this. And then the other thing, it's kind of a mix of stitchy kindness and haul. An amazing person sent me, Jennifer, she sent me an amazing package with just so much stitchy kindness with this card to start with. And I was just blown away when thank you, you're just blown away. So the fabric she got me was this 30 count ironstone, 30 count ironstone. I don't know anything about the fabric, but really nice neutral 30 count fabric. And then this kit, which is, I've never seen anything like this, but it's really cool. It's daydreams. So you stitch this middle square, and then this is actually a frame that comes with it that you then put your scene in. So it's really cool. So it's not a whole lot of stitching, but you get this really cool scene.
Yeah.
So that was
really
really cool.
Like road trip.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and wouldn't take very long, and yeah, so love that. And then this Lighthouse by Barbara Creations. Oh, I didn't take out the plastic. You can kind of see it's like this wall hanging with the lighthouse. Hey Pam, with a lighthouse. And then, are you wanting to come join the video? I'm gonna take notes. Hey buddy. Someone did ask like where's the dog? He's so quiet. He's a quiet dog. He only barks if like he thinks there's a knocking or there's a lot of noise or something, but he really only barks if he's like spooked.
Actually, the most noise he makes is when he's crying.
Yeah, he has nightmares.
Yeah.
He has nightmares. Hey buddy, hi. So this is a Jan Lynn design needlecraft full kit. Really cool scene.
Stay over here.
Comes with all the floss and the Ada for it. Really, really gorgeous. So love that. And then the last thing that came in this package was actually something that's been on my wish list for a while. Really long time. Ever since I saw it, I don't remember where I saw it, but ever since I saw it, I was like, I love this kit. It's a Dimensions kit, and it's called Beach Chairs. And it's just so representative of so much.
That's a theme that you like to revisit a lot, is like the beach scenery.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, me and the beach. So, but I love this because it's like me and 3 of my favorite people of different groups. You know, the 4 of us just go, and 3 of my best girlfriends, me, my parents, and Dave. Like, it just is so representative of all the people that I would love to sit on the beach with and relax, and you know. So I love that so much. So when I made my call to keepsakes about the Liz Matthews, Hello from Liz Matthews pattern, I actually asked, so it came with 18 count 8 or 14 count Ada, blue Ada, but you know, there's a lot of sky shown, and 14 count was too big. I wanted more like 32 or 40 count for this. So when I called keepsakes, I asked like, hey, you know, I'm looking for 32 count light blue Ada that's gonna look like sky, you know, this pale blue. And Barbara said she had something, so I got that as well. And it is a gorgeous piece of fabric. It's 32 count, picture this plus. But in my lighting, it comes across kind of gray. It's a pretty like white gray fabric. So I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna use that for this piece. You can kind of see the difference between the Ada and the linen. It's a gorgeous piece of fabric though, and I'm very excited to use this for something. I'm just not quite sure if I'm gonna end up using it for that. But I'm very happy to have it. I mean, PTP is always good to have some 32 count gray neutral color in there. So love that. So kind of stitchy kindness and haul all combined. And then the only other thing that I bought, which I have not actually received yet, so in my next video I'll be able to show it off, but Google, I swear, has ears and they listen even when you don't tell them to listen, because I have recently, and I have not Googled it, but recently been getting ads for lap stands. And I know I mentioned that in a couple videos, and I've talked about it, and then I suddenly started getting ads for it.
And we've been talking about it a lot.
We have talked about it because I really wanted to get one, but it's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And I also was I think I did ask like in Instagram about like the pipe, the PVC, DIY, you know, lap stands. And then I suddenly started getting ads for lap stands. So
and PVC pipe.
And PVC pipe, yes. So it's kind of funny. But one of the ads I got was actually for an Etsy seller who I don't really know the seller. I don't think they normally do just like cross stitch stuff. I think it's just they just have different things. I didn't really look into the seller very much, but they had a Kay's Creation lap stand for 60% off. And I knew of a lot of people that really loved the Kay's Creation. So I snagged it, and it should be here at some point this month. Like I said, it took a while. So super excited to try that and start doing like two-hand stitching, because I don't have a whole lot of time to stitch now. And so I need to use that time as efficiently as possible. And I think the two-handed stitching will make that more possible. Yeah. So very excited about that. And it's like I can use the Q snaps I already have versus having to like, you know, make new ones and stuff, or buy new ones. So yeah, so very excited about that. So yeah, so hope I shouldn't have too much haul in my next video. But yeah, so that's pretty much all on the to-do list for like normal FlossTube things. Thank you so much again for the stitchy kindness. It was just so incredible. Thank you so much, Jennifer. So now I think we can transition to the
now it's all about
special guest portion of the program. So if you're not interested in learning about him, no worries at all. No harm, no foul, no hard feelings. Have a great month, and I'll see you in September. If you aren't interested.
And I'll never see you again.
Anyways, I did say in my last video, like, you know, if you have any questions for him, if you have any, you know, anything you want to know, you know, feel free to message me your comments. So I had a few comments, and I had a few private messages with questions for us. But I thought we would do like a little background on us, a little bit of our story. I kind of mentioned it a little bit in the last video, but we always say the same. This is the first time we've ever lived in the same zip code, because so we met in middle school and went to the same middle school, but we technically were still in different zip codes. It was like we were on the line or whatever. So we met in 7th grade. And then as everyone likes to tell us, we did date in 8th grade, whatever that means. But we did go to the 8th grade formal together, and I'll include a picture of.
And I had braces.
Yeah, I had literally just gotten mine off. I worked so hard to get mine off.
I got mine off that summer.
Yeah,
so I still look pretty tragic.
I'll never forget. The 8th grade formal was May 14th. Because I only know that because I had that date. So I got my braces in 6th grade, and I knew the 8th grade formal was going to be in May of 8th grade. And I was like, I am getting my braces off by 8th grade formal. It was like the first big dance, you know, whatever. And I had that date written down. It was like, I got my braces off May 10th. So I got them off 4 days before, because I was like, I was like doubling up on the rubber bands like you shouldn't, and like. So it was kind of funny. So so in the picture, I don't have braces, but he still had his.
Yeah. So and so fun fact is, and everyone says that you never know it now. I used to have hair down to my shoulders.
Ooh, I do have a picture of that I could include.
That's not going in the video, please. No. But it was a couple weeks before the dance that I had cut all my hair. So that was one of the first times in years.
Yeah, you had like short hair. Yeah. I feel like 8th grade, you had a little bit of like the mohawk going on.
For a little while.
But that was still pretty long. So So and as you can tell from my dress, my color has still not changed. Nope. So actually, fun fact about that dress too is my mom actually made that for me.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, mom made that dress for me. So yeah, kind of a fun little story there.
Yeah.
So
and then we got back together.
We were not together freshman year of high school.
Yeah, and we got back together in between
freshman,
sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, we became we didn't talk a lot freshman year. We went to 2 different high schools. I guess we should make that clear. We went to 2 different high schools, and so we kind of like lost touch. We didn't really talk a whole lot, but we still had mutual friends.
We had a ton of mutual friends.
And
because most of everyone who went to our middle school went to your high school. I was one of
so I stayed friends with them.
5 or 6 people who went to the high school I went to.
Yeah, so I stayed friends with them, and they were still friends with him. So we became, that spring we were all kind of all back together as friends, a friend group again. And so then we got back together summer of that year, June 25th to be exact.
Yep. And that's what we use as our anniversary.
Yeah, so our anniversary is June 25th, 2011. Been together pretty much consistently since then. Yeah. And so we went to 2 different high schools, 2 different colleges, but they were only an hour and a half apart. So I went to UGA, he went to Kennesaw State, but we're from Kennesaw, Marietta.
And we've always said, jokingly, but it's probably the absolute truth, that we are a great couple. But we don't think we'd make great colleagues or classmates.
We're very different when it comes to like how we approach school and stuff. He's the front and center kid that asks about the homework.
And I'm
not necessarily in the back, but I'm in the middle. And like, if the homework doesn't come up, I'm not going to remind the professor.
But I also have a very brutal mindset when it comes to work, and like, if you can't keep up, I'm leaving you in the dust. So I will do what I can to help, but
he's not going to slow down.
But I don't slow down.
So it's good. We didn't ever have to study together the same thing. I don't know how well that would have gone. We did study for MCAT, which is the test for medical school, but it was that was, at least we were on the same page studying for that stuff.
And we only ever did that like once a week together.
Yeah, because we only saw each other on the weekends, and we'd only see each other like every other week. I mean, it wasn't even an every week thing. Which was good, because we kind of were able to learn how to have our own lives. We had our own friends and had our own lives, and then we would merge those together like on the weekends. Which I think is going to be which turned out to be very good for preparing for after college. After college, I then, I moved to Cincinnati. And you came to Auburn.
Yeah, it's funny. So we practiced the long distance thing for 4 years. And really sort of in high school, because we had to make it work, because we were because
high school we weren't even.
I feel like
it was only the weekends.
I feel like the majority of people who date in high school, they go to the same high school.
So we would maybe see each other like after school.
So progressively we got farther apart, but then
incremental.
So high school was a good practice for college, and then college was a good practice for the last couple of years, and then all of that, or college in the last couple of years, was good practice also for living together. So because we incrementally, I call it a close quarters combat. So we've practiced that for like the last 4 to 6 years.
Because we would be together. Well, and also it's going to be really good practice, because he is going to be in the Navy, and he is going to be deployed for X number of months. And so I'm able to like have my own life and have my own friends and not fall apart when he's not around, so except cooking, that's going to be feed myself. But so he came here to Auburn, started medical school, and I went to Cincinnati, as we know. And that we were to make that work pretty well. He would come up on walk breaks, and we saw each other about every month and a half. The most we ever went
every month to month and a half.
Because I would, like, in the middle of his block, I would come visit him, and then at the end of his block, he'd come visit me. Which also helped us practice living together, because he would come to visit me for like a week at a time. So that was a long time to. You couldn't just. You couldn't hide anything. If you were living together for a week. I
wasn't visiting. I was.
You were living there for a week, so we've been grocery shopping, and So that was. And then when COVID happened back in March, when the world fell apart, his school ended early, or ended early, but like
I feel
it went completely online. Obviously,
and I feel horrible saying this, but like the when everything shut down and everybody had to go into quarantine and the pandemic got really serious.
Quarantine in Cincinnati.
I was in Cincinnati for 2 weeks,
2.5
just
weeks,
working. I mean, you know, and so it really wasn't.
It worked out.
Yeah,
I mean,
and also and I was also ramping up studying for my board examinations. Mm-hmm. So like for me, all I had to do was sit inside and study anyway.
Yeah, it was definitely a test for us because it was 2.5 weeks. I was completely working from home. He was completely studying from home. So we lived together for like 2.5 weeks. I was like, okay. And we didn't kill each other. So like, okay, if we can make this work, then actually, we can live together.
Yeah, and in fact, like we didn't really have any issues during that time.
No, because we had a lot of practice, you know, leading up to it. So yeah, we figured out communication relatively well. So, most of our fights throughout our relationship were usually communication based.
So we just learned.
So we've learned how to communicate.
Yeah.
It's like when you can last almost, what is it, 9 years now?
Yeah.
9 years is learning how to communicate. So, yeah. So, and then I moved down here, obviously, a couple months ago. And overall, someone did ask how the transition to living together has gone. And, you know.
It's been fine for me. I don't know about for you. But.
It's been great. It's been great that he pretty much does all of the cooking. So that's been really nice. And he does really yummy cooking. So... and then I do most of the cleaning, kind of counter each other as, which he hates to do. Yeah. So now, if he, you know, put his dirty dishes in the dishwasher, then that would be.
You know, I always put them in at the end of the day,
which is so gross to me. Like bacteria,
they would get into the dishwasher, just not
the second that you. But how much harder is it to go from the sink to the dishwasher that's right next to it?
Well, if you've been doing it for 2 years, very difficult.
So that's the extent of our fighting over the last month.
That and so, hey babe, will you get me another LaCroix? No, because you didn't finish your last one.
I'm really bad about finishing my LaCroix. I forget about
them. And now
it's
bled. Like last night, it started to bleed over into, will you give me another beer? And then I went and I picked up her beer, and it was full.
I thought it was emptier than that. I really did. But you were also already up, so like then you didn't have to get up again.
So you wanted a warm beer? Okay.
Okay, anyways, I do drink beer. It's not just wine. Yeah, that's the extent of our arguments. Is not finishing LaCroix and not putting dirty dishes in the dishwasher when they're done. So, anyways, so the transition to living's gone pretty well. Yeah. We've been really good about communicating and everything. So, other life update like med school has gone pretty well over the last few weeks.
It's been annoying for me because when I started school,
it was a lot harder.
We had to show up.
Yeah.
You know,
we had our very easy
at the crack of dawn. Everyone had to be, you know, in suit and tie or equivalent, and everyone was packed into the lecture hall. We were sweating to death. We were all nervous, and Megan just gets to get up in her PJs and go have it. Well, you put on a nice top. For
shower and get dressed.
Yeah, but you still got to just.
I'm still wearing a t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah,
I'm not wearing
and go to the coffee pot and have coffee during class.
It's been very nice. I really enjoyed the work from home, and actually it got extended 2 more weeks a week ago. So I was this past week was supposed to be my first week on campus classes, and the numbers were still rising in Auburn, and so they closed it for another 2 weeks. Yeah. So I don't go back. I have 1 more week theoretically of online. People call it online med school. It's not. I mean, it is online, but it's we're essentially, instead of in class, the professors are doing their lectures over Zoom. Yeah. So they're live Zoom. So I'm still I'm at class. My attendance and everything.
You're still working all day.
And I'm working all day. Yeah. I mean, it's I have class until noon, so it's 4 lectures, 8 to 12, and then it's 2 to 3 tests a week. So last week actually was 3 tests, not 2 tests. So I've already had 5 exams, and so so it's every 2 tests every week. So after class, I eat lunch, and then I study for the 2 exams I have, the next 2 tests. Yeah. So and then I pretty much work until he starts cooking dinner, and then hopefully I'm done by then.
Like I said a moment ago, I have a pretty brutal work ethic when it comes to class and work and everything. And as a first year med student, the only reason why I have a problem with her easy start is because as a first year med student, I believe that you should get kicked around a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
well, it'll
yeah,
start next week.
You got to earn your stripes as far as I'm concerned. So,
but yeah, I mean, a lot of it's been like go at your own pace too. So like the Zoom lectures are recorded. So, and there isn't technically an attendance policy. So, there are some lectures that are required. Like you have to be there.
Yeah.
But like if there was one last week when I had 3 exams, like I really needed to study for one instead of going to class that wasn't for an exam for 3 weeks. So I skipped that, but then I can go back and watch that lecture.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been actually going really well. I usually can still get probably about an hour and a half of stitching in at the end of every day, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Which is when we're usually watching the Braves game. So that's how I have so much progress. So I am studying, I'm doing well on my exams. Don't come at me for my progress, okay?
Yeah.
Jen.
And we've already talked about how important to keep that up and to make like, and you said that like you were a little nervous about starting FlossTube because
I did, yeah.
Because like like what if there are tough weeks, and there will be, but like this holds you accountable to keep stitching,
at least have
and that
half an
helps
hour,
you relax and everything.
Yeah, so it's kind of a win-win. Yeah. You have progress and I relax. So so it's been really, it's been a really nice 3 weeks. It's definitely been stressful. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it hasn't been like a smooth. Yeah. The lectures have been difficult. Like, it's not.
Wednesday and Thursday night, you were pretty stressed out.
Oh yeah, I was pretty stressed out before my exams. So getting everything, just making sure you study well. But I have a person who's already done it, and so I'm using the way he studied, the way he figured it out, and it's working out really well.
And I had someone who is a rising third year, which I am now, help me out and get my feet on the ground.
So I have two generations of the study plan. Yeah. And so I'm just sticking to that, and it's been working out really well. So it's nice. I'm kind of skipping the having to totally figure it out phase that they had to, that other people have to go through to figure it out. I've had people already figure it out for me. So perks of being 2 years behind him. Yeah. But actually, that could go into, so someone did ask like about his journey, because I've only kind of given bits and pieces of like where you're going now, your role in the military, what you're about to start. Some people don't know.
How far back do you want me to go?
Just like I don't know. What you're about to start. You're about to, like, people don't know what rotations are necessarily. There are some people who don't know what that is.
Yeah. So I'm a rising third year, and at most medical schools, it's a little different, but on average, you do your first 2 years in the classroom, and you learn all your basic sciences and like pathophysiology and your theoretical clinical medicine. And I'm about to go into the phase now where for the next 2 years, it's all on the job learning essentially. So I have what they call core rotations, which is pretty much what my entire third year is. And that is, like family medicine, general surgery, pediatrics. So all of like the more familiar, no subspecialties, no like heart transplants or dermatology. You can do that as elective rotations, but with the pandemic, they're not doing our elective rotations this year because we have to quarantine, so they need to save some time in a couple places.
He has a 10-day quarantine between each rotation.
Yeah, which is totally fair.
But before it was just a weekend. Like he would finish one on Friday and have to start the next one on Monday.
And essentially, to me, what that is that like, hey, take a full week to
10 days off
to relax and to study and to kind of recuperate. So and I will in my first rotation is general surgery, so I'm definitely going to need that.
Starts out with surgery.
First one. So but
he starts out tomorrow.
Yeah. And so and then fourth year, and I hope that made sense. So this year I'm doing like really on the job learning, all the medical specialties everyone's generally familiar with, and then fourth year I do a couple more of those, but then it's mostly audition rotations for residency programs. And so with that being said, I'll talk a little bit about the Navy.
Yeah.
So I am a part of the HPSP, which is the Health Professions Scholarship Program, through the military, and the Air Force, Army, and Navy all have scholarship programs for that. I'm not sure about the Coast Guard, and the CDC actually has a similar program as well. But essentially what that is, it's a quid pro quo, essentially, is that after residency, you serve one active duty year for every year the military paid for your school. And that's essentially it in a nutshell. I am right now a commissioned officer in the Navy, in the Medical Corps of the Navy Reserves.
So he commissioned like a month before he started med school.
Yeah,
like 2 years ago.
So I am in the military now, and then when I graduate, I go full-time active duty, and then after my residency, I pay back the military with time. But
so residency is not included in the time, which I think threw some people off that I talked to.
Yeah.
They thought like their 4-year residency could count like towards their 4 years. It's like, no, if you're doing a 7-year residency, you're not done until 4 more years after that.
But even with
But that's considered your education. So
you're still considered a student even though you're full-time active duty. But what's nice about that, and anyone who's watching who knows anything about government service, is that goes towards my pension. So my payback time doesn't start until after residency.
But it counts towards the 20 years.
Yeah, but it counts towards my retirement. So and I think even right now counts towards my retirement.
Oh.
Yeah. So really, it's a better deal than a lot of, if you're just looking at like the money and time, if you're just being objective, it can be a better deal than a lot of the guys and gals going through ROTC and the academy programs. Because those people who sign up for like flight school spots and sub driver spots, like they're committed for 12 or 15 years on their first contract.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think the average HPSP commitment is about 9 years.
And that's like if you do a really long residency.
Yeah, that's like if you do a surgery residency. Yeah. So, which a lot of people do because the military needs a lot of surgeons. And
that's what he wants to do. So.
Yeah, ideally.
But you want to go the full 20 years.
Ideally. Yeah. And that would do a lot for our family, and I've always been very passionate about going into the military.
He was an NJROTC in high school.
I was one of those kids.
We went to military ball all throughout high school. I didn't go freshman year, but the last 3 years we went to military. We actually went to his military ball and not his prom. Yeah. We went to, that was more important, so. Yeah. Military ball years.
Yeah. So that I hope that all makes sense.
Yeah.
That's like the simplest way I can explain.
So he's in the military, but like, as my mom keeps asking, a World War III would have to start for them to call you up right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's not, they don't care about him right now.
If Megan ever tells you in a video David got called up early to go be a doctor, it has hit the fan. Yeah. That's what it would take for me to, how dare you? Sorry. That's what it would take for me to get called up early. Yeah. Really. So...
That was like my mom's first question.
Yeah. So and like with everything going, and it was so funny. I have a quick story about that. Is we got an email. So our command, we're all stationed at our station is whatever our med school is. So, but our command is in Bethesda, Maryland, where all like a lot of the Navy administrative offices are. We got an email from our command saying, while your requests to aid in the pandemic are heroic or something like that, we do not need assistance from students at this time.
Awkward.
If I have any colleagues out there who sent that email, yeah, you know.
Still learning YouTube rules.
The time and place, people, but... Yeah.
So that's kind of what he's doing right now. And then what's really nice is he gets paid while also then paying for their.
Yeah. So
he's getting a salary throughout med school. Yeah. So. Well, I'm just taking out loans, so.
But still, that still puts us way ahead of any other couple going through. Like we know other couples who are going through medical school together.
Joint loans. Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
And Auburn's private. Or VCOM at Auburn is private.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let me see what the other questions were. Oh, someone asked, that was the dog question. The dog is asleep right now behind us.
He's a very good dog.
Yes, he's very good.
He's like the perfect med school dog.
He's a little stubborn at times, but extremely stubborn at times.
But his favorite.
That's like the worst thing about him.
Yeah, but his favorite activities are cuddling and drinking water. So,
and destroying toys.
Yeah.
We buy him toys to destroy.
Yeah.
We have, but better the toys than our couch. So. Yeah, I think we pretty much answered. Oh, what was your first thought when you learned I was in a cross? You kind of said.
Well, I think that when like I said earlier, when
just looked for things for me.
Yeah, is that like when I figured out like, oh, okay, like this is gonna be like your hobby and something that you're really into. Like when you first got into it, I was like, oh, okay, what can you stitch?
What can you make for me?
For me, yeah.
You know, it's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty much it. Unless you have anything else, any last words for the peeps?
Thank you for being so nice
to
the most important person in my life and showing her so much love, because
it has been an incredible community.
I wasn't surprised about how much, because I know how great she is, but for y'all to experience how much, the reasons why I love her and everything, and for y'all to respond so positively to that just means the world to me. So thank
sweet.
all of you.
And on that note, I think we're going to, a sweet note, we're going to kind of close it out here. I want to give us a little more time because I'm going to include the beach wall, which is about 2 to 3 minutes long. So I'll be back. This month thing I think is working out well, so I'll be back probably Labor Day weekend. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, or, feel free to either leave them below or private message me. Thank you all again just so much for your support and coming back whenever my videos randomly pop up, and really seriously appreciate all of the love and support. So follow me on Instagram. I'm at Georgia Girl Stitching _ stitching. It's below. My email is below. He doesn't do social media, so you couldn't follow him even if you wanted.
I'm not going to accept any friend requests of people that I don't know.
He doesn't. So. He doesn't. He barely does. He just has Facebook for VCOM related things. But yeah, so we're gonna close it out. Have a great month probably, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
We're back.
I forgot a question, and it's very awkward because it's very much about him. So someone did ask, and I don't know how I missed it, but someone did ask what his hobbies were, because that's about him too. So I've mentioned a couple of them in the past, but why don't you talk about a couple of your hobbies?
Yeah, so
it's not cross stitch. So
no, not, and you've said it before, is that because someone asked you, like, what are your hobbies, or what are your other hobbies, and you said, like,
David's.
Mine. And I would say to an extent to I'm very involved with your cross stitch as well. I mean, I commission a lot of it. So I very much enjoy being a part of that to a big extent. But I would say I'm a very passionate fly fisherman. I love fishing. That's kind of where I find my peace. And med school has kind of ruined that for me, because
can't go anywhere.
It's very hard to plan fishing trips around medical school.
And there's not a lot of fly fishing in Auburn.
There is, but
where?
Actually on the Tallapoosa and the but it's not trout fly fishing, it's bass fly fishing. So it's not really what you expect. But the thing is, you got to get on the river. I got to get the kayak out, or you got to have a buddy who has a float to get you out. And so
the kayak lives behind our couch because it's literally the only place it fits in this house.
Yeah.
It's a little big.
Yeah. It doesn't even fit on the largest wall.
He used to have it on his wall in his apartment because he could get up and down, but it won't even fit on the wall.
Yeah. So I'm a very passionate fly fisherman. I love that. Megan's talked a lot about our Keys fly fishing trip, and that's definitely going to probably be one of our go-to family vacations.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it on our honeymoon next year, so.
Yeah, and
I already emailed the guys.
I love MagicTheGathering. I think you've also mentioned that a couple times.
Briefly,
and I'm sure some of y'all have some nerdy acquaintances or significant others that are. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. So it's a card game. For those of you who don't know, it's
a tense card game.
And a very intense card game. It's very similar. And for the people watching this that actually know what it is, don't crucify me for saying it like this. For the people who don't know, it's kind of like Pokemon
and Yu-Gi-Oh.
But way better. But way better. So I very much enjoy that, and that's been kind of the easy thing for me to indulge in recently, because you can play with people over webcam and everything.
And it's the version there's a YouTube community like FlossTube, but just for MagicTheGathering. So they have their people that do what FlossTubers do.
Yeah, and that's how I got into it, is on my YouTube recommended feed. There was just hey, here's some Commander Magic the Gathering gameplay. And I was like, oh, it's been, and I used to play it in high school, and I was just like, oh, I'll click on that and watch it. And then ever since then, I've just been like, oh, I remember how much I like this.
There's one that we watched that I actually really enjoy because the guys who do it are very entertaining and like very relatable. Excuse me. Command Zone with Josh and Jimmy.
Josh Lee Kwai and Jimmy Wong. Shout out to you boys.
Because they watch this. Yeah. But yeah, so that's been fun. They have a monthly show where like it's like 4 people that play,
and
we've gotten it. I'll do that with him.
And you've started to learn how to play it, and that's been really fun. So
it doesn't go well. I die pretty fast.
I just get nervous whenever she goes to shuffle the cards because some of the individual cards are very expensive, and so when she's just like smashing them into each other, I'm like, I'll do it for you next time.
I just hand it to him.
Yeah, but so I've really enjoyed that, and during quarantine, I've connected with a lot of people over that actually because like with fishing, and you're not supposed to go out, and even though I think that like one person out on the river is actually probably a safer place for someone to be, but like I understand the rules.
But if like 8 people think that.
Yeah, but like it's been hard to go out with a group of friends because you can't really go out with a group of friends. So so it's been hard to do that, and this has been something, like phone, like every phone has a webcam. Most computers
he's been using my tripod.
Yeah.
And, like putting the webcam over the play mat.
Yeah. What
do you connect via?
Discord.
Discord.
Yeah. So which is like a free Skype.
No, that's the other thing he uses Facebook for.
That's
the only other thing he uses it for.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering Facebook
I'm
page.
pretty active in the Facebook page for that.
Yeah,
so
funny.
And then something else that's been really hard for me to do lately is play squash. I love not the vegetable. It's a vegetable, or is it a fruit? It's a fruit. No.
Doesn't matter. Okay. It's not what he does.
Not the food, the sport, squash. It's kind of like racquetball, but the ball doesn't want to bounce and the rackets are smaller. So, and that's kind of like become my sport more so.
The Auburn Rec Center has like squash courts to play.
Yeah. So, but it's an indoor racket sport, and
that's in a gym.
And you end up playing very close with your opponent, so it's been very hard to play that. So
it's not been allowed.
The Auburn
Rec Center still is like one person only.
You can't play games right now. You can only practice, which is fine, to get out and exercise. But all the squash courts that you can go to and play with other people have been closed down. So that's been tough. But those are like my big hobbies and interests.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been able to. I haven't done anything with squash yet. Like when he wanted me to like start getting involved in that is when everything shut down. I was like, whew.
Yeah,
because I've seen games and it's very intense.
Yeah, it's kind of like the MMA of racket sports. It's kind of
I prefer running on the treadmill.
Yeah. But we're gonna start playing tennis together.
Yeah, we did get tennis rackets. I took like a 1 credit hour PE course in tennis, so we have a lot of learning to do. But yeah, I think that would be fun. We could do that, but the hours are so weird still with the gym. Like they're only open from like 12 to 4 or something.
Yeah,
and I'm studying during that time, and it's hot. It's like why would the tennis courts be open during the 4 hottest hours of the day in Auburn, Alabama? It's like 103 degrees or something.
It's brutal.
No. Yeah. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
Watching NCIS is another one of our specialties.
Yeah.
NCIS and the Braves games.
Yeah. That's
very much into Braves. I feel like Braves is one of your hobbies.
Oh, yeah. And that's something that we share. And I think that's why we, over the last year, a little over a year, we've become really big Atlanta Braves fans. And
like actually knowing the players. And
I
don't know the history stats. Like someone be like, well, what was Freddie Freeman's stats in 2007? I don't know. I don't
think he played in 2007.
Well, I don't know. Whatever.
But yeah, it's
Chipper Jones, whatever.
But I think that's one of the reasons that we really enjoy it is because they'll say something about like the 2007 season, and we'll go like, well, what the, and we'll Google that.
Yeah. The commentators really make, because everyone's like, baseball's so boring to watch. I'm like, the reason I got really into it was the commentators would tell stories about the players. And so I feel like I know those guys, I really connected to the guys, and they tell stories about stuff, and it's just, you really like, I personally really want Dansby Swanson to personally do very well. Like I have a connection.
And the other night they had Hank Aaron on.
Yeah, that was really cool.
which was really cool. And he played for the Braves. So one piece of history I do know is the Braves came to Atlanta in 1966 was when the franchise came to Atlanta. And Hank Aaron was playing in Atlanta during that time. And so what they were talking about is how did baseball coming down to the biggest city in the South affect the civil rights movement. And so
so we talked about that a lot. Because they also had the Atlanta mayor on during that time too. So it was really cool. And they one night too, they had last week, and they had Chipper Jones on as one of the commentators. They talked about Chipper, and he was a really big Braves, person. So that's my only come back to people who say Braves is boring. I'm like, well, it's not, or baseball is boring. It's like, it's not always just about the game. It's about the players, and also like football, we care about the football players too.
Yeah, and also in school, it's like to the boring point about baseball is that it
doesn't take a lot of mental energy to watch.
Yeah, so you can turn the volume down and
it's perfect
study.
For stitching.
Yeah,
it's perfect for stitching.
It's good for if you're working on something else or if you're studying. Like I pretty much studied for my last 3 pathology courses while watching baseball.
Because you don't have to like and you can tell when something important's about to happen, or they'll replay it if you missed it, so you can look up real quick. So, anyways, but okay.
Bye.
Now we've answered all the questions.
Bye-bye.
Hi, friends. We are here for the Tour de la Beach Wall. Currently, there are only 2 stitched pieces until I have time to make more to add. This is Hibiscus by Artisy. I got from everythingcrossstitch.com. I did this probably like 2016, 2017. It's on 16 count oatmeal Aida. I designed the blue waves around it and added those. And then on sticky board and in a frame I got from like Joann's or Hobby Lobby. This is a picture I took on our Keys trip last year. We had dinner at Latitudes on Sunset Key, and so I snapped a photo at sunset with our drinks. And then my dad printed it for us and helped me frame it. And again, like a Joann's frame. Our save the dates, along with our thank you card to the people that helped David make the proposal so perfect. And a frame that I got from Hobby Lobby. A gift. And then this is Key West by Awesome Pattern Studio Co. as like a commemorative piece for that Keys trip last year. It's on 32 count As You Wish by Under the Sea Fabrics, finished by Barbara. And the only change I made was adding this tarpon silhouette in the water, because on that trip we chartered fly fishing for tarpon and a couple other kinds of fish a couple times, and David caught one. So I added that to kind of remember that. So pan back out. And then the Every Family is actually was an engagement present from David's mom. So there it is.